Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a happy Friday. My name is Anastasia Poulos. Welcome back to another edition of the Stony Brook Media Group's news show. A New York EMT was stabbed to death while on her break. Allison Russo, 61, of Huntington, was murdered on the street near her fire station in Queens on Friday. The accused assailant was arrested. Peter Zisopoulos of Queens was charged with second-degree murder and fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon in her death. She leaves behind her parents and daughter. FDNY Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh described the attack as, quote, barbaric and entirely unprovoked, end quote. Russo began her employment with the Huntington Community First Aid Squad in November 1992 as an EMT before earning her firefighter and emergency medicine certifications. Russo was the assignment commander of the volunteer squad for 13 years and even became a first responder to the destruction in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The volunteer squad's 32-year-old chief, David Kaufman, said that it was difficult to picture the squad without her, and this loss is incredibly hard for all of them. The funeral took place on October 5, 2022, at the Till Center for the Performing Arts. Our thoughts go out to all of Russo's loved ones in the wake of this tragedy. Yesterday, North Korea flew a formation of warplanes near South Korean territory in another show of force after launching 6 ballistic missiles over the last 2 weeks. To aid these growing tensions of ballistic testing, the U.S. deployed a carrier task force and aided South Korean and Japanese forces in military drills. This week's tension all began when North Korea launched a ballistic missile over Japan with no warning, prompting residents of Tokyo to seek shelter. Pyongyang has had 24 missile tests to date, the highest annual record so far since Kim Jong-un became the leader in 2012. Earlier this week, the UN Security Council held a briefing about North Korea's weapon program, with speakers accusing Russia and China of enabling this missile testing. Experts suggest that these tests allude to an escalation of tensions. We will continue to update you on this developing story. Hispanic Heritage Month began on September 15th and ends October 15th. Capricaci has more on the beautiful culture and food that we celebrate this month.
As a part of Hispanic Heritage Month, Chef Julieta Ballesteros made a guest appearance on Monday, October 3rd at Eastside Dining. For 6 hours, students were able to get a taste of both Mexican and French cuisine. The menu for the night was tacos de cauliflower, pipián rojo, yuca frita, and churros for dessert.
The food was extremely good. I had the churros, like multiple churros with some Hershey syrup, and it definitely was really good. We actually got a bunch, so 2 plates of them, so it's really good.
Like, for the most part, it was unique, and I thought that it had a lot of nice flavors. It was pretty good. And I like the churros. Churros are always pretty good.
I think the food is pretty great. It was a nice change of pace from what's usually inside the dining hall. And it was nice having different recipes being used.
Ballesteros is native to Monterrey, Mexico, and grew up learning to cook. She is now the owner and executive chef at La Loteria, located in the West Village. She found inspiration from different places, including some close to home.
I was inspired by the cooking in my kitchen of my house. My 2 grandmothers, they were like excellent cooks. So every time they were cooking and there was like family reunions, I will get inspired from them. All of the mole recipe is my grandmother recipe, the churros, a lot of, memories from the past.
Hispanic Heritage Month recognizes Hispanic Americans' contributions and influence to the history, culture, and achievements for the U.S. Students share why they think it's important to celebrate the month at Stony Brook.
And also the food and the people, the tradition, and the cuisine. We don't really get to experience that much. So having that opportunity here is amazing.
I think it's important for different ethnicities and cultures to be represented and appreciated, and one way to do that is through food, because that's where we all kind of come together at the end of the day, and it's nice to spread that throughout the university.
It's a celebration of all Latin people to be together and represent our culture, our food, and be together.
For Stony Brook Media Group, this is Catherine Procacci.
We now turn to Ashley Nunez reporting on women student athletes who are STEM majors and how they balance their lives. Ashley?
Thank you, Anastasia. At a university like Stony Brook, where 33% of students graduate with a bachelor's degree in a STEM-related field, female athletes are no different. Working around demanding schedules, rehabs, and games at a D1 institution, the pressure is on for our female Seawolves. We spoke with Margaret Fleming, a former Stony Brook student athlete and a current academic advisor for the athletics department. Here's what she had to say.
But yeah, you just had to make sure you brought computer, any assignments you had to complete, whatever else you had to make sure you brought on the road.
Her life revolved around lacrosse, missing class to play games, studying in the rehabilitation center, and even choosing between eating or showering before class. Fleming graduated with a bachelor's degree in health science and is now helping students balance their academic and athletic lives. According to the National Census, in 2019, 73% of people working in one of the STEM fields are male. Take a look at this graph. The average number of women in STEM fields is steadily increasing, but still far behind their male counterparts. We are proud to say that most of our female athletes are on track to graduate with degrees in the medical fields such as psychology, biology, and nursing. This has been Ashley Nunez. Keep studying, ladies. Anastasia?
Last week, we reported on the landfall of Hurricane Ian impacting Florida and South Carolina. Today, Anthony Johnson has an update on the destruction.
The devastation left behind from Hurricane Ian continues to grow. Since hitting Florida as a Category 4 storm last Wednesday, Ian has claimed the lives of over 120 people in the state. According to Reuters, nearly 270,000 homes and businesses are still without power. Governor Ron DeSantis said that search and rescue teams have saved over 2,300 people and have checked 79,000 structures in the area. However, it is unclear how many people are still missing, according to Florida Division of Emergency Management Director Kevin Guthrie. Some islands that were previously connected to the mainland are now isolated. The roadway that connected Sanibel Island, which is located about 30 miles off the coast of Fort Myers, has been destroyed by Ian. 1,000 people have been evacuated from the island, according to Sanibel Fire Chief William Briscoe. Officials say that the island is now, quote, unlivable due to the storm. As for the Carolinas, Ian made landfall as a Category 1 storm in South Carolina last Friday. The storm brought high winds and heavy rain to the region. At least 5 deaths have been confirmed in North Carolina. Other areas in the Northeast, such as Virginia and Washington, D.C., were also impacted by Ian in the form of a nor'easter. Despite the storm not passing through as a hurricane, thousands of people still lost power. Flooding is also a major concern due to climate change. According to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, warming temperatures have contributed to higher sea levels in Virginia. And here in New York, the impact of Hurricane Ian has been felt over the last couple of days. Heavy rain and cool temperatures persisted from Saturday all the way to Wednesday. However, meteorologists say that tropical moisture from Ian merged with another storm, which also contributed to the weather patterns we have seen throughout the week. Warmer temperatures in the 60s will return over the next week. Our hearts go out to everyone who has been impacted by Hurricane Ian. Anastasia?
Thanks, Anthony. Such devastating news from Hurricane Ian, but thankfully recovery is on the way. That's it for today's edition. Have a great fall break, Seawolves. Remember to take some time for yourselves. You deserve it.